All right, pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Do we have minutes that we're reviewing? I didn't see any. Do we? You don't have them? They're done? Do you just haven't printed them? Okay.
It's different. So here it is.
All right. Just waiting. You can add those two to the. He hasn't seen those. You got a pile of work to do tonight. You got a pile of work to do tonight. You're not getting out of here until late. Good thing you got all that candy.
Yeah, I see him turn on. Good.
Yeah, you saw that? I'm happy. Thank you.
There's a learning experience for me.
Even better.
It's nice enough weather. I can come out. It ain't cold.
Public notice for that's what the town meeting on October 11th, right?
For a public hearing on our.
Yeah. Is that what it's called? Is a town meeting? Is that what it's officially called?
Yeah.
Like I told you,
Town referendum or.
cold weather doesn't mess with my lungs. I got severe COPD. That's what caused it for me. I quit 15 years ago. You letting me call you Debbie?
No.
No, Debbie. Debbie. Gotcha. Good job.
Yeah, probably should be. No, that's activity. Huh?
They're your selectmen. Some bosses.
You are a shop.
Nope.
Oh,
Flower bank.
brag. That's what. I knew there was a lot of R. Brad that worked in here. I'm sure. Knew that a lot.
Yeah, I just have on this, I just have a couple of the, chairman on motion for public notices for general assistance appendices and cable ordinance for hearing on September 21st, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And then motion for public notice for
town meeting, so crossed out building.
Mhm.
Town meeting hearing on October 11th, 2017. I think that's all I really, that makes sense to you guys?
Yeah,
Do you have anything else, Paul?
you all set, Paul?
He's reading it.
Oh, sorry. I want to make sure he's,
Just wait for
I
it.
thought you were making sure you were awake.
Okay. You understand the changes I just said? So I make a motion to accept the minutes as corrected. The Tuesday, September 12th, 2017 minutes.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Okay.
All right, paperwork.
This is just the
What?
the copy of the
We owe you any money?
Well, we'll talk.
We gotta,
about that.
we'll figure that out.
Oh, this is what,
the
Probably not me, but maybe
certified
Laura.
copy that just needs signatures for the building
fix this. Oh,
code.
that we're certifying, this is what it is. Is this the whole thing or no? This isn't the whole thing. These are the
That's-
true copy of the official. But this isn't the whole thing, correct? Because it says we certify that the document to which we have affixed the certificate is a true and official text of an ordinance.
Okay, I think those are the amendments.
Yeah, we need
Okay,
to
so
have,
we need the whole.
we should put the whole thing
Okay.
together. Yes.
Which one are we?
This is the code, building one. It's just what we're changing, and it should be the whole thing.
Right, but no, I gave it to you.
Yeah, you did. I just thought that we
Oh.
just needed to put the amendment in.
No, that's
No.
why I did the
Okay.
whole thing and I
Alright.
one-lined it all, so that way
Yeah.
we had the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has it, it's just,
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
she didn't print it out.
okay. Cause, yeah, that's what you gotta put to the.
Okay.
When do we have to give this to her? Oh, dated today? You could probably print it
I
out
can
today.
read. Okay.
Can you have it,
Yeah,
don't you?
I have it on
Yeah,
the
that's
phone.
fine.
Yeah, it's just a matter of.
Yeah.
And then we can sign it.
This is the.
Is that just the amendment to allow for a third party
Yes.
inspection?
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is the public notice for the Wednesday, October 11th town.
You done with these full please, Paul? Floor spot.
Yeah. Wait a minute, you'll get your turn. The black book that is blue. I don't have a pen. It's the pens.
Yeah, do you know what this, so what does this mean? Municipal officer's return?
Because that's return saying that we posted it. That's saying, cause we're signing that we are posting it.
Yeah.
We're posting it.
So that's the official, that's what it's called, is municipal?
Yes.
Okay,
Because it's our public hearing and we're the ones that are supposed to,
okay.
so we
Hear that?
Now we know.
You hear that?
guarantee that it's gonna be a post.
But you see how it's in here, it's like right here?
Yeah.
But in the email that went out, it got moved into a line with these, so people thought we were having a meeting about a municipal officer's return.
Oh,
So it was the formatting
yes,
thing, they
yeah,
didn't,
it's just, the-
Okay.
I can't
yeah.
tell you
No,
how
that's
many
fine.
questions I got on
yeah,
that.
that's fine.
The municipal officers return on the agenda.
So we're returning the, yeah. We're
This I
posting
just,
it.
it's just to get onto the general assistance portal. so that I can log in when I do the general assistant stuff. I just need a supervisor's signature so that they can give me my password to get that all set up.
Yeah.
And I think it needs a witness signature too.
Am I supposed
When
to,
does
should
that
you look at
man
that?
wants to come in?
I don't know. You wanna look at it? Yeah.
What do you want?
He doesn't wanna come in, Paul.
He was looking in one.
Said darn it all. Thought we were gonna have another one.
I had the official.
So what this is the return is saying that we, at least 7 days before the hearing, have posted this in the places it says to post it.
So I sign this right below you, right below here? Is that what you're saying?
Table.
Post it.
Oh, the one you do sign.
You don't have to sign it. Just one, it's just one
I
spot.
just need one
Yep.
signature on that.
I just witnessed on the other side.
Thank you.
Oh, so they just gonna extend it again.
This is from, it's a press release. It says Mainers urged to sign up for free disposal of unusable pesticides.
So you're gonna make sure this was posted, right?
Yes.
It's a press release. So you're gonna release it? You're gonna like put it on the website, is that what?
If you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Where do they have to take it to?
Huh?
Where do they have to take it?
Free and easy, dispose of pesticides. Collections will occur at 4 sites: Presque Isle, Bangor,
Yeah,
get a little closer, Augusta,
yeah,
and Portland.
so.
Participants must pre-register by September 29th,
So you'll post all that on the website?
Yes.
which is
Okay.
only like 10 days away or whatever. No, 9 days, 8 days. Drop-ins are not permitted. So,
Interesting.
kind of restrictive, but, and we just got that? Because it was dated September 1st, but it takes a while for them to get it to us, I guess. So, that's fine.
I don't know. There's no,
Yeah, that's fine.
But you'll just post it so
Yeah.
everyone can see it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then the last thing I have, paperwork, is we got a thank you letter, thank you card from the Lebanon schools.
Go ahead and read it.
Dear Lebanon Town Hall staff, thank you so much for the generous donation we received from your softball game. It will certainly help our Ferry Beach fund. Also, thank you for collecting all the school supplies we received. Many students are prepared for school because of your efforts. We truly appreciate all you've done for the Lebanon schools. Sincerely, the staffs and students of the Lebanon schools. Nice.
So thank you, everyone.
Yes, thanks everyone who donated. And thank you to Gilpatrick's.
Yep. All right, that's all you have?
That's all I have for, well, I have, do you wanna do newsletter now, or?
No, let's go into the hearing part of this, because it's 5:29.
Yes, yeah.
So that's at 5:30, so, do we have copies of the general assistance and, you wanna hit that one first, wanna do general assistance first? Let's do GA first. Is that what this is all I have?
That one I
in front
put
of
copies of in
Is
your
that-
copy, yep.
me? So that one I have, okay, so everybody's got the GA one in front of them?
Yep.
Do we have any more copies of the GA
I
one?
do,
Just to, wants to look at the GA ones?
Thank you.
And so this is one of those ordinances and appendixes that the selectmen have the sole right to adopt. and to put into action. And there's only a couple of them out there. We'll be dealing with the other. This one may kind of make sense, but like the cable one that we're going to be doing next, we initially had thought we were going to have to put that to the voters because I always thought that everything had to go to the voters. But come to find out, Laura corrected me, and we just got back from training that they also mentioned it that is actually one of the ordinances that the selectmen have the sole right to adopt themselves. So by state
Feeling pretty powerful.
by state statute. So yeah. So that's kind of, you know.
You get to do the cable thing.
That's what you voted for us, I guess, is so that we could do this in the cable ordinance. So, so that's why we're doing the public meeting tonight. Is the cable was never done before, so we need to get that on the books. Our attorneys had mentioned we need to do that, and then this general assistance ordinance maximums is an annual thing that the selectmen do. Right?
I do have a summary, yes, every year. I do have a summary, and I went through and highlighted what has changed since last year.
Oh, great.
So, no matter if you want me to just read it or if you want me to hand it to you, but.
Yeah.
So the overall maximums for one person in the household went up $11.
So does that show, so the overall.
Where, I don't see us. Am I not seeing?
Second page, right here.
Yeah.
Second page. Second page.
York Kerry Berwick, nope.
Oh, she doesn't have it. Hers don't have it.
I don't have that page, but that's okay, you can just.
Hand one.
Yeah, there should be enough room.
Thank you.
Do you have it?
Do you have it?
So what am I looking at?
That's right.
This one I don't
This
have
I did
here.
make a copy of. These are I mean I can make a copy
But
of
this
this.
appendix A,
Yes.
I don't show that, because it shows York, Kerry, South Berwick,
Yeah,
it says
where are
Cumberland, it says Portland, Lewiston, Penobscot, Bangor, but we're not there.
Are we somewhere over here?
Yes, we're on there should be one.
Should be here.
I didn't see there.
No, we're not in that one. They sent a separate one
For us?
for us because
Isn't that the GA overall maximums, or didn't we change? Or don't we have?
Is it on the second page or?
So we're not listed, oh, well, maybe here.
Yeah, well, just wait
OCC.
a minute.
On the second page of it, there's another York County one. On the back page, no, on the back page. Oh, you don't have the back page. I can't help you.
I copied this up good, didn't I?
You don't have it either.
There's a couple ones,
Is it back page?
these are last
I don't know,
year's.
good copy.
Okay, so what are our,
This is for overall, general assistance.
I believe it's in there.
And this is for a single
Where you made the
person.
copy from, right?
Well, they sent them all separate.
Yeah.
Single person
When I printed it.
is
But I wonder
keep you money.
if this one was
General, yeah.
Cause
this
that's what I
appendix
said,
was a front back, and
Yeah.
we're missing the back.
Yeah,
I wonder if it was a double-sided.
It probably maybe just
General assistance. It was like the back. I think to help you out in the hard spot.
Yeah, cause see, this is C1, this is C3, there's no back.
and you'll need that to put that in your book. with-
And this is on here, it's 1 and then 3. Both missing page 2, so they were double-sided. So you just have to find your original.
Okay.
Social Security, pension.
sorry.
Oh, from where?
I didn't realize that they separated. Alright, well that is that's for your
That's for us.
yeah, which is says it states Lebanon there.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can find.
So it went up, they did go up a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think it's like $12 there, and then
Yeah.
for heated, I think
Yeah.
the maximum increase was like $25 for the month. The food maximums did decrease by a couple bucks, and then everything else stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then number of household that went up a
So
little
the
bit.
electric is the
Electric
same,
is the same.
yeah. And you add $750 per additional person, right, is that what they do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and heat monthly. Yeah. And unheated.
Would it be too difficult to share the changes?
No, we will, just give us a second here. Can you make us copies?
Make out your link.
This moment, please.
So this summary sheet, it's saying here, the applicable indexes we put in here, and that's what this is what we adopt, is this part here.
We, yes, we adopt the appendix, yes. Let's see, your comments are in here.
Right, well, that's the page 2, that's right.
Yes.
We're missing. Did they email this or did they?
I don't know, I'm sure they did, I mean, in the old days, they used to mail it to you, but I'm sure they don't do that anymore.
I wonder if I can find it online.
So it just depends where you are, you know.
You get it?
I haven't got a clue. Do you have the original of the?
Perfect.
There's a couple extras.
Thank you, appreciate it. Got it.
Was this emailed to you?
Yes.
So do you have the original of that?
Yeah, they came in separate.
Okay, so put that in unheated, heated.
Yeah.
Effective. Okay.
Dana always catches me stealing.
Should not this.
Yeah.
That would make a good noise on
Yeah,
videotape.
videotape.
That's what I just gave copies of.
That's all we really need. We don't need all this because the summary is going to go into all this. Is that
Right, yes.
Okay. All right. So that was a correction.
Yeah, and she fixed it, that one, see that?
You read it first. So the overalls went up a hair, right?
Yes.
And primarily it was the housing that went up,
Yes.
is the biggest.
The biggest one was, for a 4-bedroom, monthly went up $25.
Right, but
And
the
that's
biggest change overall
change.
is that the housings went up and then the
Right.
food went down a hair, basically?
Yes.
Cause everything went down on the food, right?
Right.
Right.
Yep.
By just what, a couple bucks basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
$2 a person or thereabouts, yeah. So they're taking it out of food but giving you some place to live, I guess. Electricity went up, same, yep. So Laura, help me, is this something that really, it is what it is, and we just,
Well, yeah,
What is
I
the-
mean,
what are the
how are
options?
the, I mean, the only thing I think you could do is, the housing is the only one that's, if you read that, what it says. Consider adopting the numbers if these figures are consistent with local rent levels, values, which, I don't know. Are these, Jenny, these values, are they consistent with what we have? Or I don't know if you've even done any of that yet, rent or whatever.
they're the same as what we have. I don't know what we have for our, like what is normal for our area.
Yeah, cause you, cause you probably haven't done anything
Right,
yet, right?
right.
Okay.
But I did check with Alfred, he seems to be pretty close, and he said it was.
Yeah, well, I think it always has been, I mean, so, and these are just like, this is the maximums for food
Yes.
and all that, so.
So it looks like if the new increases get adopted, then I go back and add them here.
Yep.
right, but I guess my only thought is it says that we're adopting the appendices.
Yeah.
And we don't have, at least, we don't have the complete appendices. 'Cause that's the reverse page.
That's this one, right?
No,
Is this,
this is Appendix A.
yeah?
So this is what you follow what I'm saying? This is actually what we're adopting, we're not adopting the summary sheet. The summary sheet is a good way to see everything, but we're actually
A,
adopting.
B, C, D,
These A, B, C, and D actually go into the ordinance and replace
B.
these other ones.
C. Yeah,
And so, but we don't have a complete C. In other words, that's C3. That's C1, the reverse side, when the second page,
Oh,
we're missing
yeah,
is the reverse side, that's what I'm saying, we don't have the.
well, we can put it off till next week, I guess. Get them.
To adopt them, I mean, we can have a hearing about it, but we can actually
Well,
sign off on
yeah.
it.
Sorry,
Plenty of room. Thank you.
Thank you.
And are we allowed to change, we can't change any of these numbers, right? We don't,
Well, if you read the paperwork, I think the only one is the housing one, if that's not realistic.
if the housing isn't
It says,
realistic
see, it
for our
says
area.
right on page C1, it says, not all municipalities should adopt these suggested housing maximums. You should only consider adopting the following numbers if these figures are consistent with local rent.
But we'd have to do a market survey
Mm-hmm.
and present it to DHHS.
But you talked to Alfred,
Mm-hmm.
and they're,
And they said it was very close,
yeah,
and they're adopting what
Yeah.
the DHS had put out.
well, it's,
Well, I mean, we see the numbers, so I mean, we can actually just make sure we put the right appendices in there, that's fine.
right, so this is the housing for York County that's.
Yep.
That's not on that page, but this is what we're adopting for the housing one.
Right.
And the food maximum, that's I mean, we have that one. The fuel. Is the fuel. Okay, the housing should go there.
Do you have any questions before I open up the public comment?
No.
Do you have any questions, Paul?
No.
Does the public want to comment on the general assistance adoption of the appendices? Great. I make a motion to, should I do this right? I make a motion to adopt appendices A through D, so it's A, B, C, and D. To replace the existing appendices A through D
I'll second it.
in the general assistance ordinance.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? All right.
So do we have to
Alice.
sign that?
Do you want me to come to?
Is there something? No, just make sure they get,
Yeah, we just
just
have
make
to
sure all
sign
the
this.
pages get in there.
Yeah.
Okay. We have to sign that while we're signing? Okay. All right, that's that. All right.
Do you have the other one?
Do you have the cable ordinance by chance?
Thank you, Paul.
There should have been one in the box.
Was there?
I mean, but I got waste in the box, I thought. That's what's in my box.
Yeah, not cable.
Yeah, no cable.
I have either under.
Nope.
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 Anybody here, how many people want a copy of the cable one to look at? 1, 2, 3, 4, okay.
How's the painting?
Snow. Bad weather. I'm gonna give it hell this week.
Yeah. Halloween. The Great Pumpkin.
kind of its own chip.
That right, I just gave them more than they needed. Did I give you more? Does it, you have like 2 of them there?
Oh,
Yeah,
I guess I
okay.
do, yes,
That's all.
alright,
That's okay.
alright, 2 pages.
Man, you ran it out. It's all out, of course.
And staples.
Nice.
We're in disarray today, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'll kind of outline this for everybody. This is basically what they call a pretty much of a boilerplate ordinance. It's pretty standard throughout the state. It's essentially essentially allows the selectmen to negotiate with a cable company for the benefit of the town. It does not provide any exclusivity. So we can allow as many cable companies here as we want. It doesn't, so we don't have to lock one cable company in. It does allow us to do a contract or a franchise. So they're not called contract, called franchises for up to 15 years. And it says up to, so it doesn't have to be 15 years. Again, what's in best interest of the town. A lot of cable companies, if they want to provide a lot of infrastructure in the town, if you're only going to give a 2 or 3 year contract, they're not going to invest in the town. So that's why they want longer terms. And that's what this would allow. And again, it allows us to enter into that franchise contract. And quite frankly, the reason this came up was because MetroCast just got bought out by a company called Atlantic. And we need to sign documents and stuff about the franchise because the franchise changes hands. And so I went to our attorneys just to see if there's anything I need to be concerned about. And they said, well, do you have a cable TV ordinance? I'm like, nope. They said, well, really, you're supposed to have that before you have a franchise. So this is, even though we've had a franchise with MetroCast for I don't know how long, we probably should have had this a long time ago, and this was never done. So this is just trying to basically play catch up.
Yeah.
So that's what's behind all this, why it's coming out now. And so that's.
In the end, they lower the prices.
I wish I could do that, but I mean, again, I'm not sure how much negotiating I can get with them. I mean, they unfortunately in the cable industry there's not a lot of competition.
Yeah.
There used to be a time I can remember a long time ago when all these cable companies were smaller, so they'd compete. So come time the end of the franchise, you'd have 2 other companies on your doorstep wanting to negotiate rates to come in, and well, you don't have that anymore.
No,
It's pretty much one company, and at least, and certainly here down in Boston or whatever, you can get several, whether it be Time Warner or Verizon or different ones. But up here, it's MetroCast. We're now Atlantic, and that deal probably won't happen until probably January is when it will finally close. So that's primarily what this provides. Yes.
So my question is, in a town where our local ordinance allows for contracts of 3 years, and the old cable contract was for 10 years, why is this now up to 15 years?
So, well, the old cable, what?
So, and I know they're changing hands, but MetroCast, whenever they would come in for their contract and discuss their contract needs, it was always requesting a period of 10, it was for 10 years, and now they were requesting an additional 10 years, and every time that they came in requesting 10 years, the former board denied them because the town allows for contracts of 3 years or less for the selectmen to sign contracts of 3 years or less on behalf of the town. So how would this one now be different, that you could sign a contract of up to 15 years with the cable company?
So I'll try to give you the uncomplicated answer. The uncomplicated answer is the 3-year contract rule or law or ordinance only came into play a few years ago. It wasn't that long ago that they put that into play.
Correct, but it was just before you were elected in December that
I know that, and quite frankly, this question came up.
Right, it
This
did,
question came up is a franchise a contract?
correct, and it was never answered to the public, so.
I think I remember seeing some emails referencing that more or less it was a contract.
Correct.
And so I don't believe they extended the contract, I only think they only extended it for 3 years.
No, they did. The last that I remember, and maybe Paul can shed some light on it, is that MetroCast didn't want to sign for 3 years.
Well, there may
So what
be,
they did was they just continued for
Okay.
a year to give the town.
they may have done that, so I mean, the bottom line is that this should have been in place a long time ago, and so the MetroCast is asking for 10 because that's what they had initially.
Correct.
So you just tend to ask for another 10.
Right.
Why? I mean, that's because they figured if we got 10 the first time, we'll get another 10 this time. So
Yeah, they really didn't want to sign.
so again, the boilerplate is, and again, we can exit anytime we want. So this doesn't really lock us into 15 years. But what it does is it gives a cable company that 15-year, commitment, at least that we intend to. I mean, if there's issues, this allows us to get out.
So this kind of trumps that 3-year
Yes.
contract signing.
Yeah, because this is a franchise, it allows us, it specifically says franchise, so it does not, so the other one says contract.
Right.
Okay, so you could use, is it semantics, is a contract a franchise? Not really, it can be worded that way,
Right.
and if you don't have any clarity, that's where you have problems. So the contract stays there, we can only do contracts for 3 years or less.
Okay.
But this now allows us to enter into a cable franchise for 15 years. And so does that trump it? Yeah, because it's a franchise, it's not a contract. This is not saying that we can enter into a contract for 15 years. This is saying that we can enter into a franchise for 15 years. It's different.
It is different?
Yeah.
A franchise is not a contract?
One could say that, but when you specify the two words differently and you give meaning to each word, then they're not the same. If you don't give meaning to each word, then it's your opinion or my opinion.
What is your meaning of the word franchise?
Bring the ordinance. I mean, it's a franchise agreement it's not a contract.
Where is that in here? Where it gives you the term of what franchise?
I mean, it says each franchise contract, but again, it's a franchise. So I mean, again, does this only trumps the contract in regards to a cable ordinance and a cable franchise. So it does not trump it for any other contract.
Only for cable.
It only trumps the 3-year contract just for cable. It does not because it's a franchise. This does not give me authority to enter into any contract for 15 years. It's only a cable franchise for 15 years. And it's up to 15 years. If it's not in the best interest of the town, then we can do it for 10 years. We can do it for 3 years. We can do it for 1 year. So again, there's got to be a benefit. And so, but if we can get more infrastructure, if we can get more issues, so quite frankly, right now, the town's phone lines here go down all the time. Okay, and so I get alarms. I get a call on my cell phone all the time because the thing went down for 30 seconds. They dropped the line. Well, there's fiber optics nearby. What if by signing a 15-year contract, I can get them to route fiber optics to the town hall? So now we're not just regular internet, we're having fiber optics and we have much better reliability. So if I can get something out of it for the town by doing 15 years, this gives me that.
Just curious as to who decided on that number, 15 years, rather than 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or.
Because that's standard in the state.
So at most towns in the state allow for a signing
For
of
15 years.
15 years.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you, done.
Any other questions? Comments, concerns? No? Great. You guys okay? You got any questions, comments, concerns? It's pretty standard. I know you guys have seen it before. I make a motion to, is it accept? To adopt?
Adopt.
I make a motion to adopt the town of Lebanon's cable television ordinance.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Is there something we just initial this? Do we sign this?
Yeah, we should
Miss
probably.
ex-clerk.
Well, no, we should probably do one of those papers.
Like to certify.
Yeah, just to certify that
Okay.
this is, so that is the one, but
And then we can
we could,
sign it.
yeah. So that she knows this is the one, cause you know how
Yeah, that's
it's
fine.
300 copies.
I mean, we can just do a little initial here, but then we
Yeah.
can just do that.
Yeah. Yes. Yes,
Cool.
we'll just do that, yeah.
We're actually pretty close to being on time. So not on the agenda, we're gonna talk about transfer station. So we have Kevin is here. Come on up, let me make you a little bit of room. Okay, up here. You guys have the newest version. I started to put at the bottom. I put down draft with a date.
Very good.
Okay, so
Because
we
it's very
can.
confusing.
I know,
You've
no,
got
so that we don't have
300 copies.
that way we don't have different ones floating around. You guys probably don't have the draft, so
I have two extra, I made one for Kevin and one for Robert, and then there's two extra.
Okay.
From somebody else.
But it's just a
Okay.
draft.
yeah, this is just draft. So this is actually not
Yeah.
as much for everybody else as it's for the
Yeah.
participants. So
Right.
there's,
Yeah.
no, that's for you. That's for Robert. And there's two other ones. I don't know. Whatever. Just they're all there. So the ones that you should be looking at say draft at the bottom right corner of the first page.
Do we have one to follow on?
Yeah, if there's an extra one, do we have one there?
Yeah,
Is that-
there should be
there's
two
one?
extras.
There you go. And again, this isn't really part of the public hearing, just so you understand, this is just kind of a discussion with what you might call stakeholders as part of this ordinance. So this ordinance is, we're hoping to put this on the June ballot. So this isn't a public hearing about it, this isn't, because actually it's not even on the agenda.
So
This
you're
is just,
closing your public.
public hearing is done, yep. So, well, we signed off and made a motion, that closes it. So, the changes to this one, probably to the one that you had.
Yeah.
The only change is based on a little bit of feedback, I dropped the 250 down to 100. And I deleted the requirement for a client list or whatever it was. I deleted that one. So,
Okay.
so let me just, you had a chance to read that one?
Yes.
Okay, did you have a chance to read it all?
I read some of it whole.
Okay, and again, I mean, where you may help is like some of the definitions, some of the wording, some of the, as far as the different locations. Essentially, what this is what I'm trying to do with this is I'm trying to update what we currently have, because what we currently have has some environmental committee that's supposed to be in charge of this that we don't even have. So if you actually look at our current ordinance, the responsible party is some committee that doesn't even exist.
Okay.
Okay, so, and the other part, we also talked about permitting cars and stuff, and we wanted to give the authority, and so I figured it was a time.
We've already voted on that anybody has to have a sticker to get into
Yeah,
town anyways.
and but this gives us permission to do that policy, and that, it wouldn't be in an ordinance, it would be in a policy that we can then have that policy. So, what this does is it talks about that, and I basically pulled it from a bunch of different towns.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't try to reinvent the wheel, I just try to find what works, small towns, there's some of us to send, and try to work it that way. The one major thing that's added to this is commercial haulers,
Yes.
which is obviously why you're here.
Yes.
And so, in doing the research for this, Commercial haulers are required to be licensed by the state.
Some are, there's exemptions, I had looked. If I'm registered under 10,000 pounds, I'm exempt. If I'm reading the law right.
Yeah, I don't, again, all I know is that,
Oh, yeah, I may come back to more.
this
I think it was
is,
in section 2D of a state non-hazardous
yeah, I don't
waste.
have, I don't know that.
I looked at it on the internet, I don't have a copy, but.
Was it under motor vehicles, do you remember? The-
No, it was DEP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Okay.
I might have it.
Yeah, the current one was the Board of Environmental Welfare was in charge of the ordinance, which we don't even have. Yeah, this is DEP. So is the DEP, it's, again, non-hazardous waste transporter program, is that what you were looking at?
Yep, 2D, I believe.
So 2D is exemptions. So a transporter who handles only one or more of the following inert fill or land clearing debris, snow, materials that have been separated from solid waste and are being transported for recycling, generator owned or leased conveyance that transports non-hazardous conveyances which transport wastewater, treatment sludge, septic holding tanks. So conveyances with a gross vehicle weight of less than 10,001 pounds transporting municipal solid waste, and conveyances with a gross vehicle less than 26,000 pounds transporting construction demolition debris to licensed disposal facilities. So is that what you're saying that you fall under?
I would, I'll drop the, one truck's registered under 10,000 and the other one will be registered under 10,000.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know, yeah, I don't know, again, I'm not I have no idea, it would be a DEP question, because I don't know, I'm not gonna.
Yep, no, like I said, the way I'm reading it.
I don't know what the definition of municipal solid waste is, so is municipal solid waste coming from our transfer station transporting it, because that's now the municipal solid waste?
Well, no
Or-
one's gonna be hauling it like
Well,
that.
no, but what I'm saying is that word municipal solid
Yep.
waste our waste from a waste facility, or is that,
Are you a licensed
is that household,
facility?
is that household waste? No, I'm saying, is that household waste?
Right,
I don't know what that word means.
Okay.
I don't know what they mean by that. If they mean commercial picking up people's trash, and that's considered municipal waste, then yeah. I just don't know if
yeah, no, that's fine.
And I don't know what they mean by licensed disposal facilities, because we're a transfer station, we're not really, I don't know whether we're considered a disposal.
We got a license from the state to have a transfer station.
But it's a transfer, not necessarily a disposal, and so I don't know, all I'm saying is I don't know on the wording. I don't
No,
know,
it's fine.
that's why they have definitions and all that kind of stuff, and I don't know what they mean by that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we fall into that, then we fall into that, then good, and you don't have to, so again, I don't know, that's all I'm saying is that
Right.
DEP would, I need to know from the DEP, or you need to know, or DEP says, yeah, you don't have to be, you're exempt.
Yep.
And the same thing is, if it was me, I'd say, hey, can you put that in writing? If the DEP says you're exempt, hey, can you put that in writing? So, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, that covers your ass, and that's what we need. Otherwise, we get asked, well, how is he exempt? And then I gotta call the DEP, and so that's, so that's all I know is that that's what they are. And so if it's under, if it's over, it has to be licensed.
Yeah.
So, question?
I can't
You can't what?
ask questions.
Why can't you?
My son-in-law.
So I don't care, you still ask a question,
You just can't vote.
still ask a question. You might have a valid point, you might have a valid idea, why not?
No, I just can't understand why we're going through all this, because the station's running very, very well compared to other departments.
No, but it protects the town, okay, on commercial haulers, whether it be him, whether it be somebody else. It's
Yeah,
not gonna
but
be, it's
I
not
know
gonna be
what
Kevin
you're
forever.
saying, but there's more chances of getting something in there that's bad than what he takes in. Say
Why is
I
there-
wanna get rid of something,
Yep,
okay, as an individual.
yep.
I can do it easier than he can. Cause he's gotta load it in his truck and unload it. You follow
Yeah.
me?
He just dumps it, doesn't he?
No, I haven't been able to dump for 12 years.
Oh, really? Since they put the roof on?
Since they put the roof on. I've recycled for, ever since they've asked me to.
Yeah.
And I used to go for better than 10 years, every Saturday, they asked me to change my day. I changed my day. So, my question is, if it isn't broke, why are we throwing all of this on to me and everybody else?
Yeah, but it's not, all is,
What you're asking,
how is this changing how you do business
Okay.
if you're exempt?
I'm not exempt from your rules, I'm exempt from a commercial
So
hauler's license.
so how are the rules really interfering
Okay.
with what?
Okay, you said the customer list you don't need to have.
Right.
Which, great. You don't need that one. Okay, if it isn't broke, why do we need new rules?
But we don't have any rules, so it's not new rules, we have no rules.
You already said that we did have rules.
We have no rules when it comes to commercial haulers, the town has nothing.
Okay,
So having some rules protects the town.
okay,
It's not against anybody, it's having something, we don't have anything.
okay. You had asked for $1 million liability insurance.
Yep.
With a town as additionally insured.
Huh?
As the town as additionally insured.
Yep.
What am I doing for the town that you need to be additionally insured? And what do I tell my insurance company? The town wants me to insure them for $1 million. What's my liability? Well, they wanna know, what are they insuring you for? What liability am I giving you to the town that you need $1 billion? And
Nope,
you want me to have workman's comp? Well, I don't need workman's comp, I work by myself, I have no employees. So why do I need workman's comp? That's in the rules.
Okay,
So if
but-
it's in the rules, now do I
but-
have to do it, or am I exempt from
No,
that because I don't need it?
Well, are self-employed individuals exempt from workers' comp?
Yes,
Well, then you don't have to worry about it.
well, it isn't written that way. It's
Because-
written,
well, 'cause if
okay,
you
if
have-
I'm a commercial hauler, I've gotta have
No,
this
because
insurance,
that
and I've gotta have that
protects,
insurance.
so the workers' comp protects the town. So again, if it's asking something but you have an exemption, just like this is saying, you have to be licensed.
Yes,
DEP says you're exempt, bingo.
okay,
You're self-employed if
what am I insuring the town for $1 million for?
for liability.
Liability.
What liability? No, you have a good point, so I have no problem revisiting that.
You know, I've got liability
You know,
insurance,
again, the
What do I need
the town,
it seems like the town's trying to jump into my business.
well, no,
I'm not contracting with a town to haul, everybody's recycle. For the town.
No, you're right, and so that's
So-
why I'm saying I'm willing to revisit that, because a lot of this may also refer to when the town contracts out to have the trash picked up, like kind of like.
Right, that's sort of what,
And so so again, I'm very willing to look at that
Okay.
liability, so not a problem, not a problem.
the other question is, are you gonna make everybody that picks up trash do this, or is this just for me? Cause
No,
there's
it's
other
commercial-
small
it's
guys that do
commercial-
it, are you gonna make
commercial.
everybody, this is across the board?
haulers. Okay, any person, firm, or corporation who picks up or hauls refuse of any kind as a business or for compensation to be deposited at the transfer station. That's it.
Oh, I realize.
So
but
that's it, that's everybody.
I've also seen that there's one set of rules for one person, and there's another set of rules
No.
for other people.
No, well, let's put it this way, the enforcement of this
Yes,
and the enforcement of a permit policy
yes,
that we wanna put in place, that is between us and the manager up there. Okay, and so all I can say is my intent to enforce the rules equally to everybody.
Okay.
I'm not singling anybody out, I am not directing at anybody, and as I've told other people, quite frankly, regulations sometimes can help the big guy because the little ones drop out because it's not worth it. But that's a lot of times what happens. So these could actually benefit you because the small guys don't want to drop out, but they may not.
Right.
But yes, they will be required to get a permit.
Okay.
Okay, and if they don't, and you got your permit, the commercial hauler's permit is gonna be different than regular residence permits.
Okay.
They're different, they're gonna look different
Yep.
because of the truck, because again, that's partly having, the truck's gotta be registered. And so there'll be a process, they should know who the commercial haulers are out there. If they don't have a permit, they can't dump. Simple as that. I mean, it's not rocket science.
The other question is totally enclosed truck. You want me to have a totally enclosed truck? I've used the same truck body for 25 years, and the guy before me used that truck body before me. Now, you put in this rule, after 25 years, I can no longer use that truck body.
Where you put a net over it? That's enclosed, right?
No, I haven't.
But you can put a net over it, right?
If there's such a problem with trash being thrown out of my truck, you must have complaints.
So again, this is, you say, out of your truck.
Right.
This has nothing to do with you. You
Well,
think
it
this
does.
does, but it doesn't. This has to do, you may not have any trash falling out of your truck, or if it ever does, you stop and you pick it up.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not, but how do I know, you just talked about all these other guys that are out there. How do I know they're doing the same thing? I don't. This is to protect the town from trash being dumped when you've got a big load being dumped on the street.
Then anybody that goes in the transfer station that has a commercial plate on their license should have to follow the same rules as a commercial hauler.
No.
Why not?
No.
I'm a resident.
They didn't follow, they don't fall into this one. Any person, firm, or corporation who picks up or hauls refuse as a business or for compensation. Just because they have a commercial vehicle doesn't mean they're doing it as a business or for compensation.
Well, the intent of the covered load is to keep the side of the road clean. Then don't you think the trash falling out of someone else's pickup that doesn't have a commercial license is littering just as much as if it fell out of another truck?
Yeah, but I'm not.
Why not put all the rules the same for everybody?
Well, again, we can. I mean, the board can talk about that. But my point is that I don't think it is going to work to have, every resident have their loads covered.
Okay.
Okay, so that's
I understand what you're saying.
So that's not going to happen. Okay, so am I picking you? Am I isolating you? No, I'm saying commercial haulers because commercial haulers have their trucks full. I mean, because again, it's a business. You tend to have them full to the brim. Because why would you transport a half a truck?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. So there's more likelihood that trash is going to fall out of yours, especially with the roads here in Lebanon, because you can't tell me that they're all nice and smooth. Okay, so there are bumps out there.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So my point is that so all it is to protect the town. Now, we're as a board, nothing in here is concrete. So if they want to delete that for commercial haulers, we delete it. I mean, the board discusses it. That's,
creating a problem, I don't have a problem fixing it.
It's
just
not,
like I've said, I've come in, they've asked me to change a day
again,
at
this is
all,
not
I
what
went
you're-
in and,
yep.
you know what I mean? I've done what
This is
people have
not-
asked me over the years.
right. I know
If
you
it was an issue,
It's not. I'm not getting complaints. I haven't
then
heard
why
any.
change the rules?
We're not changing the rules.
Okay, adding to the rules.
We're creating the rules. The rules have never been there for commercial haulers. Like I said, you're not the only one. Somebody could come in here, want to do commercial hauling with a small truck, so they're under the exemption. Small pickup truck, they do it. Load it up and it falls all over the place. I got nothing to do about it. I can't do anything about that. This allows me to do that. I can enforce that.
Okay.
I don't have right now. The ordinance that we currently have doesn't do anything with commercial haulers. So this is purely protecting the town. This isn't singling you out. And again, this isn't my idea. I didn't say, let's see how I can screw Kevin and throw it. I just went by most towns,
Yeah.
that have commercial haulers have to
The
be.
other issue with the totally enclosed body
Yep.
is I recycle. What I do is I throw the recycle to the front,
Okay.
put the trash to the back as best I can when I unload it. Now, you know, how do you throw the trash, the
Yep.
recycle to the front
Nope.
when it's
And you
totally enclosed?
you have a good point, and maybe there's some other language we can put in there, which means you can have an open top. But, you know, something there to be responsible for any spillage. Maybe we can do something, maybe we can put something like that, cause that's what it's intended to do.
Right. And
That's fine.
That I don't have an issue with, it just, I'm trying to do a business and a, you know, a good job for the town and
Yep, not a
do a
problem,
service,
not a problem.
but if you make it, you know, harder and harder,
No, I understood.
and if I gotta build a new body or buy a new body,
Nope,
now I gotta go up on my rates on my customers because I gotta pay for
No,
this.
understand.
And I try to keep my rates low
No,
because
you're
I've got a lot of people that are older.
Not a problem.
There's more trash, somebody hauling a trailer, there's more trash coming out of that trailer than there is anything.
Yep, nope, I hear you.
They're not even size and nothing on it.
You know
And the
what,
same stuff I throw away, you get on the road, it's down here too.
Nope, I hear you.
you know, a lot of it comes from a trunk, car trunk with a bungee cord. And the,
Yeah, no, I mean, so it's,
Because
yeah,
I
again,
picked
maybe
up
we
some-
just, and maybe we put something in spillage for everybody. So, I mean, there are littering, but whether we don't really enforce it, but there's littering signs all over the place,
I know.
$500
Paid
that,
all that money for those.
right, but that's a separate subject,
That's another story.
so. Nope, that's fine. So.
Okay, as commercial haulers, you've got in there stuff about lawn and refuge and a whole bunch of other stuff. Does that mean guys like,
Be lawn refuge.
it says in there something about okay, this still has a thing about source location, waste generators, including names, address, phone numbers of customers.
Where's this? Where are?
9D.
Nine B.
D.
Oh, D, I'm sorry. This is made to deny it. I didn't do that part. So it's failed to respond to inquiries.
You need the wrong one.
Yep, that's fine. Including names, names, addresses, and phone numbers of customers. Okay.
You know, if I was doing an extra haul, cleaning up construction debris, I don't have a problem with, okay, where'd this come from? They come from Rochester, whatever, but I don't haul
Yeah,
from
no,
other towns.
that's fine, yep. No, I mean, my only, and again, this isn't about you, but I don't know about others. So that's
Right.
so you have to understand is that's been a concern of residents, and you take it personally, but it's not meant towards you, because it can be anybody. Any commercial hauler can be grabbing trash, because they don't want to, people in Sanford don't want to pay for it, so they hire a guy, he's got a sticker, and he brings it here. I mean, I'm just saying that can
Yeah,
happen,
yeah.
and residents are concerned about that, so how do I make sure that commercial haulers, not just you,
Yeah.
but everybody, all these other guys, how do I make sure that they're not bringing trash from other towns to our town?
Well, if you want me to sign an affidavit or a statement saying that I don't, under perjury, I'll
Well,
do that.
But how would I ever prove that you are? I gotta follow you? I mean, I'm just throwing that out there, because that's the design. This is not the
But if
design.
someone's hauling from out of town, a customer list isn't gonna help you stop that.
No,
They ain't
because
gonna
they
be
can-
dumb
they
enough
can-
to
they
give
can-
you
oh, yeah,
a
well-
name of someone from out of town.
Yep.
At least,
Yep.
you would think they would be smarter than that,
Yep.
but
You never know, but yeah, no, I hear you.
my concern with that, which I'm thankful you took out, was, you know, customer list is a business.
Yeah, no, I
pay money for the business.
Yep, well, that's why, that was the part I heard, and I said, fine, and so I did delete that. No, an affidavit probably is not bad, at least that way, that's probably not a bad idea.
You know, I'd have no problem.
Yep, no, because that's the concern of residents, is that where is the trash coming from? And so you know, that's fine, I think that works. That, you know, cause I agree, cause you could write a list and just delete all the ones in New Hampshire and nobody would be the difference, so,
This is a work in progress.
well, yeah, that's why, I mean, we're not doing this until June, so that's one of the reasons of, you know, that's one of the reasons of bringing you guys in there. Same thing as Robert, you need to look at all the parts that talk about, you know, what's allowed, what's not allowed. I don't know if I got all that right.
I'll go through it.
You know, unacceptable waste, you know, I need to make sure I have all that right. I don't know or something should be added that's not there. You know, especially the collection facility, that's a big list, so.
Yeah, I don't see it in this copy. I must have been a different copy that,
Like I said, I dropped the 250 because I said that's probably high, so it's $100 per vehicle, and that's just annually.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah,
you got two vehicles, that's $200.
Right.
I mean,
right, I don't,
you know. So again, I wasn't trying to profit from the money. That's why I dropped it from 250 to 100 because there's not really a lot of work that has to be done. So. Do you have any other comments, questions?
I don't really care for the fees charging the trucks. They're hauling local garbage, people's garbage.
No, it's a permit.
Oh,
We're not charging them.
all right.
It's a one-shot deal, $100 for the year.
I thought on one of them I saw you had one of these papers.
Nope, never.
You're sure?
Positive. When it was 250, it was 250 for the year,
Okay.
per truck. So not per load.
Yeah.
So if I'm a commercial hauler, I got 5 trucks that are out there picking up trash. I got to pay for a permit for each one, $100 for each truck per year. That's it. So there's no tipping fees, there's no load fees, there's no. That's what pays for the permit and our administration of that process. So I mean, I think that's reasonable. No different, it's kind of like a safety inspection. You gotta get a safety inspection once a year. It's just a permit, that's just like anybody else has to get a permit. So. And again, the $200, if he doesn't want to pay for it if anybody doesn't want to pay for out of pocket, they can add 10 cents to their client's list to their, I mean, it's not a huge amount to pass down.
the truck bodies would be.
Yeah, understood.
And, the other question is still the insurance. What I am insuring you for.
No, and I mean,
I've got commercial business insurance and my trucks are insured, so what am I insuring the town
You
for?
have a good point. I don't have a good answer for you, so I need to be aware. And this may be more for towns that contract out, because if I'm contracting out, now I'm taking on some liability.
Right. Yeah.
Which I can see that.
So again, as I told you, I pull this from a lot of different sources, and so, but I can't say that those sources weren't contracting out versus what we do, which is not, we don't contract, we just have some people that do it. So I'm very willing to look at that. You know, I can talk to our insurance company and I talk to our attorneys, where's our liability, do we have any liability? If we don't have any liability, then I suppose I can just make sure that you have your own insurance and that's it. So.
Right.
And what that does is that protects our residents. Because let's say you back up or you run over something on there because you're picking, and then you know.
Right.
So that's. Yeah, I'll look into that. Laura, do you have any thoughts?
No, they covered over, I didn't like the list either,
Yep, no, that's why, yeah, that's why.
so, no.
I mean, this is a group project, I'm not trying to screw anybody, but if I'm gonna update an ordinance, I might as well do it right, rather than just delete out the environmental welfare board, and, I mean, I might as well, relook at everything and make sure we're doing things right, that's all, so, and protecting the town, that's all. But I'm not trying to screw individual people, that's why I welcomed you to come in, and yeah, I don't mind hearing. So, you have any thoughts, questions?
No.
You
So-
got some homework.
Homework.
Yeah, I mean, we still have to talk about a permit policy, because we've talked about that before, as far as different colored stickers, and we're changing annually, and so, yeah, it's because right now our policy is pretty ridiculous, and there's no, most towns do it annually,
Right,
not the same sticker, so that way, this car that's been sold 3 times, and the guy in Sanford doesn't still have the sticker on it that he's bringing his stuff
Right.
here, and I know that happens.
right.
I won't tell you why I know that, but I do know that happens.
I checked the plates, I said, you're in New Hampshire, you can get a sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that, he said, they let me have it.
So, I mean, it's
Right.
so having different colors, just
Some
like your
people
safety
lie.
stickers,
I know you don't believe
different colors
it.
that
They
rotate
do,
through,
I do, some
um,
people do.
and maybe the same thing with
More than
commercial
you
halls,
know.
just different color each year, we just rotate through. I mean, you guys, I'll probably make January to January type of thing, it'll be annual.
Yeah,
But, the other ones are gonna probably be due when they register unless they need, but we'll have separate ones, like you brought up commercial. We have people that have, you got a nice car, but you have your businesses in New Hampshire, cause they're right on the border, and they got a commercial truck for their business. They'd rather bring their trash in their commercial truck rather than their nice car. Why can't they do that? So I'm not gonna give them a sticker, but I can give them a card. So that's because they don't register the vehicle here, so I can give them a different, same permit,
Right.
just to allow them to use, but they're a commercial vehicle, so. But I shouldn't be having just regular New Hampshire plates coming over here, it should be a New Hampshire that's commercial. So that would be the only reason.
Yeah.
Why would I give a New Hampshire plate?
You take waste oil there?
Huh?
You take waste oil there?
No.
Where does it say that?
In a couple spots.
Right here.
That's why I asked him.
It's a draft.
Yeah, I know, but
I ain't read
I
it
just
all.
wanted to.
Where?
So 1, 2.
No, what
Robert's
section,
gonna
what
look
section?
4, I did page 4, number V117, right? And so it has waste oil.
No, that's why waste oil is in bold and brush is bold,
Right.
is because I didn't think we had those. That was in the stuff I was doing, and so that was to be looked at. 'Cause I
That's
didn't
his
think that
homework.
was, right.
Read that, make sure.
Because we don't do brush either. We
Right.
used to, but we don't do brush.
You want them down and read it for me?
Waste oil we send to,
You better make notes.
did you know?
No.
People come in with waste oil, we send them to, Jimmy Abbott or the,
They have
ST.
they have the waste oil furnaces?
Yeah.
Dick Bachelor also.
Yeah, I know, that's
yeah,
right, that's right,
everybody,
my stuff, yeah.
everybody's happy with
Yeah,
that.
oh yeah, yeah.
Cause they just leave it at the door.
Send the paint to Springfield.
Okay.
They recycle it, right in the hardware store.
We could have a hazardous waste day, oh, that would cost us.
Yeah, so both of those are crossed out. That's why they were bold, just because I wasn't sure. So,
Yeah, and then I wasn't sure either, that's why I asked Robert, cause
Yep.
he would be.
yep. Yep. All right, anything else? Anything else over there before you fall asleep?
No, I got notes everywhere that,
All right.
yeah.
I mean, again, it's a work in progress.
I have notes, yes.
We'll revisit it in like a month or two, give you some time,
Let's do your homework.
okay?
I gave them a whole lot.
And look at the new draft.
Yeah.
If something else comes up, shoot us an email. If you wanna come in and talk to us, do that again.
Yeah, like I say, if you're gonna have another hearing, if you could
Yeah.
let me know, would be appreciated.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll look into the insurance and see if we can maybe do something about spillage, and that'll be for everybody, not just commercial haulers, but just, maybe we can put something in there about spillage, whether we actually enforce it or not is a different story.
Right.
Because we don't have, it's kinda hard to enforce, but,
Right.
it is what
State police.
it is what it is, yeah, so, anything else, sir? You sure?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm all set.
good. All set?
I'm all set.
Yeah.
Good, all right.
Thank you for your
Thank you very
time.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see
Thank
you.
you.
Take my notes.
Bye, Elaine.
I'll
Take
come
care.
over.
All right, take care.
You do that.
Update it.
We're gonna give you a test.
What day was that be? I'd be sick. See you later. See ya.
Bye.
See you later.
All
I
right.
got next year's outing all planned.
Oh my, good for you.
All right, that's done.
We got a list.
That's done. All right, we got a bunch of stuff. We have an executive session to go into at the end. What else do I have? Oh. What were you supposed to bring up?
Yeah, I'm waiting for my turn.
Your turn now.
Have Jenny send the airport a thank you note.
Yes,
Skydive.
I did email them, but that's a good idea.
Yep.
Just to, I was thinking we should do something.
Yep. Who's got the best handwriting? 'Cause it's not me.
Jenny,
Does Jenny have the best handwriting?
I think
Cool.
she does.
Probably.
Okay. There you go. Yes, I did send an email, but then I said we should send a
Good.
card too.
Good. All right.
Just give her the box, Laura.
Yeah, I know. They're right here.
I trust her with the right thing.
Since she's
Yeah,
gonna
in
go.
case we think of something.
All right.
I had that on my list actually, so I can take it off.
Ashley, do you want to? Yeah, never mind. Anything else?
With this.
Yeah. No. Before we go, stuff in public. What do you have on your? Do you have a big list over there?
Well, I have a little bit of a list.
That's
yeah.
okay.
Bulletin board at the transfer station. Remember we talked about it? A
What?
bulletin board.
Yep.
Remember at the corner we were gonna do something? I'm just,
For the for the newsletter?
well, just for any kind of notices.
Wait a minute. For the newsletter?
No.
No, not
This is a
really.
bigger one. This is more like Elliot, which is a big one that they can post
Just
stuff
something
on.
like, because we don't have a lot of places we can post like our notices.
Well, I got little ones on the wall.
I know, that's not that.
Well, that's where we'd put a bigger one.
Well, I don't care, but we should put something so when we wanna post public notices,
Okay.
everybody goes to the transfer
let's-
station.
Yeah, but will they see them though if it's that far away? Because it's going to be kind of small. Are they actually going to go over there and read it?
I don't know, he just said we were gonna have a big one.
Did you see the boxes?
I saw the boxes,
Okay.
not up on the wall,
No,
but
they're
I
not
saw.
on the wall yet.
Okay,
I got a board up there
yeah,
and it says Lebanon newsletter. I'll put the letterbox and then people can take them.
yeah,
But that's
It's on the
different.
wall.
That's different.
I
from
know
you
what
want.
she wants, but I mean,
yeah, I mean, come on, I just want,
I know what you want, a bigger thing.
You want like
Well,
a bulletin board that's covered or closed
well,
in plexiglass that doesn't that's
something
weatherproof.
like that, so that we can, like, when there's notices about hearings and this and that, and you gotta post,
Yeah,
she's
but
gotta
you know what
post
I
the-
don't like about that?
What?
They're gonna stop to read it instead of,
Well, we could I thought we talked about putting it at that corner place.
But that's what I'm saying. If you put it there, then nobody's necessarily going to stop. They're just going to go by and they won't see it.
Well, voters have to educate
Put
themselves.
it at swap.
Yeah, we gotta do
Well,
something.
no, the swap shop. Once the swap shop is up, that may give us more options
Okay, so I don't want
to
this
do that.
forgotten,
No.
is what I'm saying.
But I don't. I just.
We're gonna have that swap shop in the spring, Lauren. It's gonna be beautiful, I'm telling you.
I'm sure it
You
is.
bring your little board right there, put it up, and
Big
we'll make a big deal. We'll take pictures of it, tell people stop by.
I'm all for trying to get the communications out, but
Well,
it's
we
got to
do,
be.
cause, we don't,
Yep. Yep.
like.
hey, I'm gonna have a thing over to hometown,
No.
box over to
The
hometown.
newsletter box.
Oh, yes.
No.
I mean, maybe we get another one of these signs that we have out there and put that up at the
Well, we
transfer
got
station.
that free.
What we got? What for?
Oh, no,
No, we
I
didn't.
thought you were talking about the bulletin board
no,
up
no.
front.
The
Oh, the big one
And
right
I'm
there.
gonna have one over
Well,
to
that's
Jimmy's.
true, that's a good idea.
we could put one of those up there. They could see it up there,
Right, they could,
and that way you do public hearing on that. We just have to make.
yeah, Cause
We'll have to make Jenny in charge of that, and she gets to drive all over the place, changing our signs.
absolutely.
Or maybe we'll put Jordan on that one.
This is true, Jordan. So anyway, I just don't want that lost.
That way he can come out of his office once in a while, right? He gets always this, go out and see the town.
That's right.
Here the sign.
Yeah.
I'll put something on the sign for you guys.
Yeah.
Well, we tell you to put
It needs to be appropriate.
Anyway, thank you, Skydive. What about the tax bills? Where are we at with those?
They should have been mailed out.
Oh yeah, people have already gotten them.
Yeah.
I got mine today.
I haven't been home yet. So what about the assessment thing? Did that get?
I'll go into that.
Okay.
I have news on that one.
Okay.
So if you want me, we can do that now if you want.
Well, no. Let me continue.
Do you want to go there now? We can go there. We got tons of stuff.
Okay.
Let's go there now.
All right. Let's go there now. This is just a sample bill, by the way, from Elliot. What we put on ours, just for you to look to see.
Thank you.
I don't know if it pertains to us, but anyway,
So
for another year.
So essentially, the question that you have is the abatements that we did for the waterfront, which is the outbuildings that we did late in the season, did not get updated in Trio. Okay, so. Yeah, they kind of dropped the ball. They were trying to get us to commitment and blah, blah, blah. It was a cluster, you know what, and so it didn't happen.
Yeah,
and so there's only one way to really take care of it, and that's for us to do the abatements again. Tax rate is the same.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for us. We have the same spreadsheet that we did before.
Well, wouldn't we just take it off their bill this time?
Yeah, we're just gonna do a credit. So I've got a letter. I don't have it here with me because I forgot that at my office, but there's a template, there's a regular letter. We'll send the letter out. We'll do that here soon. Actually,
because they should be calling.
2 years worth of credits.
No.
No.
I don't understand what just happened.
What just happened?
Well, no.
So last year,
we gave them abatement.
Okay, we gave them an abatement. Okay, for the waterfront, for the outbuildings.
They could take a check or
or it would be a
Credit,
credit. Most took the credit.
Right.
So the credit on their bill, on their tax.
Oh, so their bill has already been released.
That part's already been entered into the system. But then when we regenerate, when we hit the button in Trio, which is our software,
they didn't take it off of this
they didn't take it recalculates. But that recalculation is based off the property value, and the property value never got lowered by the amount it was supposed to be.
I understand, right.
Because they didn't have time to go in and get it all done.
So will they get now another letter that says they can take
now it's just gonna be a credit because taxes are already due and that way they're already done.
Oh, and it'll just be a credit
And
here
it's
in
credit.
their own system, and they'll come in, they'll pay less.
And if they ask for that, they pay less, the balance is less, so that's what's gonna happen, and so,
Well, because I'm gonna get asked that, so if I didn't understand, there's no way I could tell them.
so that's there's nothing around it, we just have to do it. And so that's.
But when they come in to pay their taxes, it will already be less than
Yes, unless they do it tomorrow, if they do it here in the next week or so,
we shouldn't take
we
their
may
money.
not have it,
We shouldn't take their money if they're gonna get an abatement.
If we know, Dale already kind of knows, and she also knows because it will be the exact same abatement that it was last year.
It was last year.
Would it be? Yeah, because exemption would then come off of that still.
Well, it's because it's the valuation.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
It's
and our tax rate is the same.
Right.
So it should be the exact same as it was last year. And so she already had a question.
But they don't have to go through that whole thing of taking a credit and all that stuff. It will be already when they unless they come in tomorrow, they'll be already off the system and they'll get.
Well, hopefully, let.
Not tomorrow. We have to have time. We have to do our thing with abatements, and then we have to give it to Dale, and she has got to put it in the system. So there is some time. There is some time involved. Yep.
Straightened out.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank
Yep.
you.
So, but that's where.
Don't pay the bill.
I have the letter.
I wish they wouldn't until we fix it, but.
Okay.
I have the letter that we can send out. That we'll send out to everybody. And it shows
I'm
what it
sure
was
they
last
all
year.
know
Yeah.
when they look at it. They're gonna say.
Well, Dale already had a call today.
I'm sure. Yeah. That's why I wondered when they went out.
Yeah. So that's that. We got a couple of supplementals to do, but that happens any year anyways. So we'll, we have a spreadsheet.
We're not perfect, so
we have a spreadsheet to track that, so that's not a big issue.
Yeah.
So, but that's the biggest one. So I had to talk with him on Tuesday with John about that.
So if people have a question about their tax bill, who are they contacting? Are they contacting us? with their assessment, other
Regarding
contact, well,
if
you
it's
know.
this issue, then basically Dale or now you can
Well,
answer
no,
it,
I'm just
but-
saying, okay, now I think I'm assessed too high, or anything, no, maybe
Well,
not.
are they, a formal request for an abatement, or?
Or just they wanna talk about their bill, are they supposed to call O'Donnell's, are they gonna call Jenny? That's what I'm saying.
I know he's talked about allowing them to call directly there, and
Because
sometimes,
usually they call the selectmen,
sometimes they
so-
can, sometimes they can answer the question right
Yeah.
away.
Or
But let
usually
me-
Sue would take those
He
calls.
said there was an 800 number that he encouraged people to call.
Well, yeah, but we need
Let me-
need to know, she needs to know whether she should be talking to him and who's talking to him, that's all.
Let
That's
me I'll talk to John tomorrow
Okay.
and try to understand what the formal, what the
Yeah.
process, what the official process is.
Yeah,
So,
so, because,
Can I ask a quick question? Do you have a sample tax bill right there by any chance? I just wanted to point something out. So, in a appeals board hearing recently, somebody asked, how are you charged on that property? And they shared their tax bill, and several people looked at it, and it says land and buildings.
Mhm.
So those people, and it's on video, you can see it, all thought that meant it was a buildable lot. He was being taxed for a buildable lot because it said land and buildings. I just wanted to add, that's on every tax bill, and it's only if there's an amount after each line. But just because it says land and buildings does not mean that it's specifically a buildable lot.
no,
I just wanted to make that clear, because then I can point this answer out to people, because it was frustrating to me to hear that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, and actually, quite frankly, in a conversation I had with John the other day, the value for the property is not the land or the building, it's the bottom line.
Correct.
So if they think they're too high on land, again, what they're asking for an abatement is that bottom line.
Right.
And those two numbers may be totally screwed up, but if that bottom line is correct, that's all that counts when it comes to a court of law.
Right.
Is that bottom line value, because that's the internal workings of how you get to that number aren't.
I wonder if you were looking at the same person's bill.
So
Yeah, because it was like, it didn't make a lot of sense, but even the code enforcement looked at the bill and said, oh yeah, buildings, land, so that's a buildable lot. And I was like, no. Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that.
just write my notes. Okay. All right. Are we good on abatements? We'll get that. I'll get that paperwork, and I was supposed to have a letter tonight, so we can do that. But we still have to have the sheet that we vote on and stuff. So hopefully, maybe by Wednesday, or Thursday, one of those. I'll have it quick. So get that done, so that we can get it into the system. What else? Okay, go back to your
I know, I'm looking for something over there, because I'm like, oh my gosh, my business card that I had, but this is from mine. Last week I spoke to, Bob Curry, he's the transportation director at York County Community Action, about maybe, this is a work in progress, obviously, having bus service come to Lebanon, York County. They do shoppers, they bring people to doctor's visits or whatever. So we had a good conversation, and he's in favor of it. Obviously, they get federal money, then we get we would have to contribute some money, and people pay. It's could be $3.
A nominal
Yeah,
fee.
$2-3 each way, whatever. So what he suggested, and he's very, he would like to do things for Lebanon, because they do other towns, and they have a pilot program in Acton and Shapley right now, bringing people to Sanford, like to Shop and Save, Shaw's or Walmart or whatever. So he suggested that maybe we do a survey to see if there's an interest, He said 4 or 5 questions, and he's willing to help with the questions, and we put it out to people to see if there's an interest, if that service came, to Lebanon, if people would use it. So I think it's a good idea myself personally, obviously. We have a lot of people that are, can't drive and stuff, and it doesn't mean just elderly people either. It's anybody.
Well, anybody can.
Yeah. So, he tries to work.
How do we do a survey? How do we come up with a survey? What the
Well,
survey
he said
questions
like
are?
4 or 5 questions, like, 1 day a week. Are you interested? Would
Your
you?
newsletter.
Well, no, he won't. No, we have to do a survey because we have to do.
Put the survey in the newsletter.
Well, we can do that.
Yeah, but how do you get the results back? See,
Yeah.
So Survey Monkey is used by a lot of people and is a very, very good service, and we could put links on our website. We could put links in a lot of different places and share it around. But what?
But the people we're probably really after
May not
might
have
not
access.
have that.
So I don't know how, but how do you?
Yeah.
But how do you reach them?
Well, either we put them in stores. We can't mail them out. We leave them here. That's what, and he said, there are grants for this stuff, obviously not for this year because a lot of grants are already gone, but it was just a thought. He's had residents from Lebanon talk to him about this, doing something in Lebanon. And he's willing to do it if we have the interest, and then we have to have
How much is an interest? I mean, how much?
Well,
how many are we talking about that are you going to use it? I mean, what is it? I don't know what.
Well, it could be 1 day a week. If we had enough interest, it could be 2 days a week. He could go 1 day a week, go to Sanford for, usually this side of town might want to go to Sanford.
Would it only be one location, central location here in town that they pick people up
Oh
at?
no, they go to their door.
Oh, they actually go to the door to pick them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So do you have to pre-register to take the bus?
Yes. What they do is they would call into York County say Lebanon was Wednesday.
Mhm.
Anybody that wants to go, they have to go, they have to call in and reserve their spot, and like say if they were going to Rochester, they'd have to say did they want to go to Walmart, Market Basket, wherever they wanted to go.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what they do. They have to pre-register.
But what's he gonna do? Take up to 3 places?
Well, they're in the same place over there. I mean, Walmart, Market Basket, they're right together. But yes, they can do that. Yeah. They just drop you off and they come back and get you, and they do that. And they, people.
They have specifications about, like, for example, going down Sioux Shores Road or going down Lower Guinea Road, which is here. I've never been down Lower Guinea Road, but everybody tells me it's the worst road in town and they're ripping up their cars. And so would those people still have the same
Well, it's a town road.
type of service?
It's a town road, of course they would.
So they would take a bus down there?
Yeah, it's like a 10-passenger bus or 15
Oh, like
passenger.
a little small.
Yeah, it's not a
Like a
big
mini
bus. No, because it has to be handicap
I was
accessible.
trying to figure out you were going to take that bus down there.
Well, the school bus goes down there. So.
School bus.
But yeah, it's just a service. But he really, he's willing to help us all he can. But he suggests we start with a survey and just see if there is an interest.
Well,
and then,
So I mean, my thoughts is that while I realize that there may be a bunch of elderly that don't have access to the internet,
Mhm.
and so it may be hard to get.
Mhm.
My thinking is that maybe others know of them
Mhm.
that would have access.
Mhm.
So one of the questions is, do you know others? Do you know people that would take advantage of this?
Mhm.
That type of.
Yeah, because they need a commitment. Because like he says, this isn't going to happen overnight, and sometimes it takes a while to get it up and moving and stuff. But they're willing. He's willing to work with us, and
I mean, how do we? So I mean, yes, you can do a Survey Monkey and get it out there, and we could post it or whatever. And I know somebody that would be very, very willing to help me learn Survey Monkey.
Mhm.
So. So we could figure that out, and I might even be able to con her into doing it for me.
My farm one is almost finished, by the way.
But and then we could post a link on the website. How else could we could we could put a little blurb and not a survey, but if interested, please contact the town hall.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We could certainly do that on the newsletter.
Mhm.
And so that way if elderly saw that, they could say, yeah, I have an interest, and then you could kind of ask them, you know, I know it's just one more phone call that Jenny has to take, but then she could ask them a bunch of, you know, some of the survey questions, just to get an
You
idea,
could do it right over the phone.
and get a name. Because again, that's partly the, you know, the senior wellness checks, especially if they're a senior,
Right,
those names and addresses are, we should be trying to build that list.
right,
So that just kind of goes into that same list that we're trying to build
right.
of residents that, you know, that need that kind of stuff.
So anyway, that's just, and he said that's where
Yeah,
we've gotta start,
yeah.
but he's willing to help us and, you know, and if there is a need for someone like to get to doctor's appointments and stuff, they do have they do get volunteers to do that already. So,
So what are the questions that we would want to ask in the survey?
well, he had suggested, and like he said, he'll look at the questions and see if they're the right ones, he's willing to do that. Would you use a bus service one day a week? Would you pay a reasonable fee? And possible medical appointment, you could say it would go to Sanford or Rochester. If there was a bus service, what would you use it for? You know, what would you want to use it for? Like he said, sometimes in Sanford, if between shopping routes or whatever, if somebody like, say a husband and a wife wanted to go to Smitty's to the movie and it was during the day, he's done that before, had the bus driver drop him off and then the bus driver goes around and comes back, gets them, and, you know, things like that. It doesn't just have to be shopping. You know, how often would you use it? Would you use it, you know, if it was here more than one day? And then one of the other things was he wanted to know, he thought we should say, do they live east or west of the school, somewhere to divide, because, you know, without getting too personal, you know, because some people might not want to say, but where do you live? Or you could say, do you live in north, south, east, west, center? Where do you live? To decide if, you know, they'd like to have at least 10 people go. I mean, I think their target would be 10 people. You know, and if there is enough, sometimes you could do a morning run and you could do an afternoon run.
Would you want to do, do you prefer Rochester or Sanford? Would you want to have that type of a question?
Well, I don't know, because if you live way over at Indian Lake, they're probably not going to cart you to Sanford. You're probably, we would probably have to.
Do they go to Rochester though?
They would.
Oh.
Yeah, because they come to Kittery, York, Northbrook, Southbrook, and they go to the mall. They go to the Newton Mall. So, you know, I mean, and they, you know, so it's just, you know, he's willing to help us, and so anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, and he's even willing to come talk to us, you know, when we get further along or whatever. He'd even come to a public meeting and talk to, you know, for the residents and whatever. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Good idea.
And I assume that you must be in contact with them or haven't yet, but they are, this is just the transportation hub, but they have a lot of other things, like the heat, the oil, and all that stuff too that they do. So anyway, okay, that's that. The scanners, you know, you didn't buy them yet, did you? Or did you?
Bought one.
Well,
for her.
Okay, because the CVR one has to have specifications. Did you get that from Dale, or, you know?
I got that from Rebecca, but this one fits that.
Okay, so it has the twain in it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any good one does.
Okay, well, I didn't know, I was just saying, we were
no,
reading something today and I go, oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, Rebecca already told me that, and I looked into that, and this one most certainly qualifies.
All right, no, this is for the chief though, I think, the rave thing. Remember he was talking about the rave, was it the rave system? Is that what it was? Do you remember that? It's the notification system, or he was talking about.
Oh, for seniors though, you were talking about it was for seniors, that type of thing?
Yeah, but it's called.
I think I vaguely remember.
Oh, but that's probably for, he said he was looking into that or something. I gotta ask him about that, but anyway, that's okay. All right, that's all I had, I believe, on my list.
Sure.
Okay.
Newsletter.
This is the draft is what I have so far.
Thank goodness, draft.
Yes.
What public meeting is on October 18th?
Where are you?
October 11th.
Well, it says 10/18/17 public meeting in the blue thing.
Okay, yeah, that's supposed to be at the 11th.
Okay, I was like, oh, and it would be a public hearing.
Okay.
You know, as we learn, as we get
Yeah,
into this, we
yeah.
can tweak it and do it.
Absolutely.
The one thing I like to add is something about our streaming live on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And that
Like-
could be under Stay Connected, couldn't it, down there?
well, that's what made me think about it was that Stay Connected.
Yeah.
I don't.
And this should be building, you probably know that, in the club of
Yes,
code.
I know.
Oh, bowling.
Yeah, bowling again.
Jeez, let's not do that.
Goodness. Anything else to add?
No, I think this
I
is,
didn't know if we needed something from Jordan, if you wanted something on there, like a, I don't know, I mean, if there's anything else.
Pay your taxes now.
Yeah.
Or else.
No, not yet.
No, I mean, probably, so I mean, I'm thinking, for this one, do we wanna put something from the roads? We could talk about the 2 roads that we're doing so people realize we're actually doing
Yeah, that
roads.
would be
Okay.
good, yeah, ask him
And
something.
approximate dates,
When will this
That-
thing be ready?
hopefully shortly, it won't take them much longer. But I'm just thinking,
Are we doing it colored?
why not?
We printing it ourselves?
Yeah.
How much that gonna cost? I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, you don't think color,
I think it's nice, I just,
maybe some of the stuff we don't have to be as much colorful, I mean, maybe we could cut back on the color so it doesn't have to.
well,
And
I
we can
just,
always do colored paper too, and make to the prints.
Well, what I'm thinking is like, I mean, that's fine for color, but that probably can be gray, not,
Okay.
yeah.
it can be like a
or-
black, it can be a black
Or
and
even a
white.
box on it, or just
Okay.
something to make it
Alright.
stand out, yeah.
You know, so I mean, I don't mind a little bit of color because it helps the eye, but
Right.
we can maybe do some of the stuff in more of a black and white rather than. Huh?
Cheap chip.
It wasn't my idea, it
That's
was.
my idea. I'm just saying, I mean, we're gonna do this all the time, it's gonna be costly to be in color, that's all I'm saying.
Can I ask you, are you running those off yourself?
Are we printing them ourselves?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
So here's my question, is that you may find, if you're gonna do color on them, you may find it's a lot cheaper to go to Staples than it is to, and have them just run off 2,000 copies, than it is to use your own color printer. Color printers are usually a lot more expensive than just taking them to Staples and having them do them. I think I got 1,000 of those,
Well, we pay usage fee, so I have to see what, off the top of the deal to find out.
find out what the difference is, because Staples does them cheap, I got 1,000 and it was
So it works first.
$52 or something.
Yeah, so add that, so like I said, just do something for roads. You know, and then I'm just trying to think of seasonally, as far as the fall, what's coming up.
taxes.
Trunk or treat.
Yeah,
That's in
we've got that. Then she's got the craft fair.
The craft fair's right underneath,
Yeah.
and I can.
Yeah.
What would be nice underneath that is to say where the money for that goes, I think.
Okay.
Just because, that it goes to the giving tree, doesn't it? Isn't it where all that money?
For the craft fair?
Yes, I believe, yeah, it's something to do with the giving tree. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it's for.
Okay.
Dale's okay with her picture here?
She wanted it.
Okay, I know she's camera shy, so I was
I know, I was surprised
Obviously
too,
not.
but.
I wanted to
Obviously not, so,
check.
I know.
You have a reminder for the collection for the Toys for Lebanon kids through the fire department?
We have,
Was that starting now, Cindy's starting to work on that
well,
now?
he didn't give us anything, did he?
Did you ask the chief for something or anything?
No, I didn't.
I thought we talked to him though, about the newsletter.
Yeah,
I mean, he knew that it was, I don't know if he knew it was.
That doesn't mean that he was
Right now,
making Toys for
yeah.
Lebanon kids either. But I know she's starting to gear up towards starting to take donations for October and November, because she had a lot
yeah,
of.
we could just maybe reach out to chief, I mean, he's on email, so just reach out to him and say, hey, I wanna put something
Blurb or
about
something,
toys.
yeah.
I wanted to put something about toys for kids in the year, so can you give me some info?
Sorry,
Say ASAP.
plug up your
How many of these
newsletter.
do you intend to put out a month?
We're not doing this monthly.
Quarterly, right?
No, quarterly,
Quarterly,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Hey,
yeah, we don't have
I'm
enough
just
to,
saying,
yeah,
it'll be costly.
yep. If it's like gangbusters, then maybe a year from now, we might do a few more, but.
Yeah, I think it's really important to do one before the election, that's what I'm really.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And we
I
might
think,
have to mail that one, so
and
I'm
I
just
think
saying.
quarterly is just, yeah, but if these are starting to go and this is getting the word out, then maybe we don't have to mail.
Cause
But
we
we'll-
need to inform people,
Yeah,
or at least have the
Yep,
information.
yep. I'll give you mine, because I did,
Very good, Jenny.
For 45 years, and we look forward to.
Yeah, I noticed that too, as soon as
Yeah, so
and then
something-
there's a space I need to put
Yeah,
into.
that's fine, as streaming,
Yeah.
and money goes to whatever building.
Alright.
You can look like volume 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What date are you trying to get those up for?
as soon as we can, we don't have a date.
Okay.
Do you have a reason?
Blood drive coming up October.
Fire station?
Is that the
Is
fire
that
station?
Is that the fire, well,
Okay, so I'll ask.
Yeah, so
Ask
again,
him. She's gonna-
I'd ask
that's-
I'd ask the chief for, asking for Toys for Tots, and if he has any other announcements,
Okay.
he would like to get into that, and just leave it at that.
October 14th.
yeah, we can,
I got an email from Red Cross.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Dana Cool.
Dina Q.
Cool. I'd like to call Joe Cool, cause he remembers everything.
Alright, anything else for the, good on that,
looks
okay.
good.
Washington Business Director. You had asked to have businesses,
Yeah, I think we even put out, did we put out an announcement or something, or?
We did, it was a long time ago.
It was a while ago, but how much response did we get, like, did we get
There
any?
was like 1 or 2,
No, we can do
Yeah,
that.
but
we're-
I just,
we're-
I haven't had a chance to.
It's a work in progress, we have a lot of work in progress,
Yeah.
Don't worry.
so.
That's Jenny, right?
And the thing is that we only have,
Where you at?
no,
we only have, really the email system that we use to put that out there, and so quite frankly, if we just keep flooding emails, then what will happen is a lot of them will get ignored,
Right.
so
No,
it's.
Milton just put out a thing that they're updating there, so I went and looked at their old one. It is pretty nice, pretty comprehensive. They have like everybody from soup to nuts.
Oh,
Just
right,
all
right,
this-
right,
On the
so,
website you mean, or?
I'm sorry?
On the website you mean?
Yeah, they have like a link. I'm not sure if it's actually on their website, but they have a link to it, and it's
Oh, I
their
see.
whole
Okay.
business, and everything is there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, let me talk. What do I have here? Oh.
Yeah.
What?
How about this, the car?
Yeah, I do have that here, I was about to do that though. Yeah, I mean, I had here about a Knowles Lane resident about some people that have out-of-state plates. There's not really a whole lot we can do about that.
We used to have a form letter by the lawyer or something.
Oh, is that what we did?
Well, I think we used to, I don't know, you'd have to look and see if we have one that, that we could just send to them, I mean.
Alright.
We used to have some kind of something.
Alright,
And the
Yeah,
honest
we do.
people sometimes would get them.
Yeah,
Dishonest.
Might as well send out a newsletter if you're gonna send out letters to every person who registers our state.
Well, no, we just have complaints, that's all.
I had a complaint about, I received a complaint about some piglets, big herd of piglets that were damaging and destroying a pumpkin patch. So I don't know,
Did you give it to the animal control?
no, actually I think it first went to the code enforcement officer. And then it
Well, I
came to
think
us.
that would be animal control.
Okay.
That's what I would think.
No, I think that's fine. I think she came in about a copy to see that we acknowledged it, so
Yes.
obviously I signed it, that
Okay.
we reviewed it.
Okay.
I may give him a call as well, but I may just have Mary reach out. She'll be,
Oops, sorry,
she's
Paul.
good at this stuff.
No, I would just think,
Yeah.
you know,
I just referred, you got Mary's number, right?
Yes.
Refer that to, just let Mary know about that tomorrow.
I knew that was gonna happen.
okay.
They didn't have a real strong pen.
That's fine. It's fine. Fine, let's talk, that's all I do, where is it? Where's that? So since last Thursday, some of this I can't really go too deep into public, but, since last Thursday, there's been some developments with regards to shoreline zoning, DEP, understanding what the laws, state laws are, all that kind of stuff. I had word of some buildings going up in Sewell Shores, on Sewell Shores. I went out and took a drive, and indeed they were. And I ended up having a talk with DEP because I didn't understand. I just was trying to understand where things were at on Thursday morning. And they talked to me about shoreline zoning, and essentially there's no shoreline zoning permit for that, and they should have been. He wanted me to put a stop work order, or ask Mike to do a stop work order, but because I didn't really understand, I said, could you please call Mike? It's my understanding that he did call Mike on Thursday, midday or so. And I think during that call, I think they talked about the Sewell Shores Road issues and the shoreline zoning issues, and they scheduled to meet out there on Monday. After that call, Mike decided he wasn't feeling well and went home for the rest of the day on Thursday and on Friday. And as we know, he turned in a resignation on Monday, which we need to formally accept. So I guess let's hold off there. Hopefully I can find it in my stuff here. We'll just pause to make a motion. Do you have it? Great. Excuse me. Yeah, here it is. So it was dated on the 18th, which was Monday. To the select board, it is with great regret that I respectfully resign from the position of code enforcement. I want to thank the board for the opportunity to work for the town of Lebanon. Please accept this as my 2-week notice. Signed, James M. Blue. I always get that wrong. So I guess first, I'd like to make a motion to accept the resignation.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. Is that a clean copy?
Yeah.
I gotta rip this one. Please, just thinking that we can sign the bottom. Accepted. 9/21, right?
Yeah.
And so that happened on Monday. I understand a stop work order was given on Monday as well. Possibly.
By the CEO?
I don't know if it was, I think the CEO did one. The DEP may have also been involved because the DEP was down there. Also on Monday and Tuesday, there were 2 appeals board hearings.
Yes.
The Monday went better than expected as far as emotions. Emotions were kept in check, so it was civil, which is good. Both of those appeals board hearings identified major holes in our code enforcement of our ordinances, specifically shoreline zoning. So we need to address those going forward. Essentially, where some of the confusion has been is that if somebody is within the shoreland, a protection zone, oftentimes they're going to need, and they want to do a building, oftentimes they're going to need 3 permits. They need a building permit because they're building something. When they do that, there are local setbacks. That's like the 25 feet from the sides and so far from the road. So they have to meet those. If they're within shoreline zoning, which is specified, then they need a shoreline zoning permit. That shoreline zoning permit either gets approved by the code enforcement officer or by the planning board. Planning board and the planning board does single family houses. Planning board hasn't seen a shoreline zoning permit in over 2 years. So, but anyways, it would go to them, and then the other permit that they might need is and it's normally called a permit by rule. Permit by rule governs the Natural Resources Protection Act. So there's really two of those. There's a shoreline zoning, which is part of the state that was developed in the early 70s, that we also have our local ordinance, and shoreline zoning is governed and enforced at the local municipal level. The DEP will provide their recommendations by state law and stuff, but it's really more or less done at the local level. Natural Resource Protection Act, again, is another state law program that was created in the 80s, and that is purely done by DEP. So a person would have to get that permit and pay $75 for the permit from DEP. The town really isn't involved in that. So we can help people. So ultimately, the code enforcement officer, somebody comes in and I want to build a house. He looks on his map and he sees you're in shoreline zoning. Okay, I need a building permit. I need a shoreline zoning permit. Person does those. And it's really after both of those are approved, or if one of those is denied and then it goes before the appeals board and then it gets approved by the appeals board, then they would go to the Natural Resource Protection and get that permit by rule, pay the $75, because that permit by rule is meaningless if they don't have the other two. They just wasted their $75. So why get that one until, and if you have the other two, there's a very good chance you're going to get the other one, the third one. So that's the process that's supposed to be happening, and it hasn't been. The building permit has, but then everything else is fallen off the wayside. People get told get a permit by rule, because that's with the DEP, but the town's not involved with that. And unfortunately, people think, oh, I have the DEP signed off on it, it must be okay. Well, yeah, it's okay for the Natural Resources Protection Act, but it's not okay by shoreline zoning. Two totally different things. So permit by rule is totally different than a shoreline zoning permit. So
There are two very different parts of the projects too.
So that's what we're dealing with. I don't know where the Solar Shores roads are. One property is got a roof on already. I don't know how far it is, and so what happens a lot of times when they get that far, it ends up standing. The other one, I think, is just a foundation, and the DEP is talking to the Attorney General to find out how they want to pursue that. Does that mean they have to dig it all up and put it back to the way it was, or is it far enough along that now they're allowed to continue? Again, I don't know. So I'm waiting on guidance from DEP on that. So that's kind of where we're at with shoreline zoning. And so I talked to Jen at Planning Board, and again, that's how I found out that there's been no, and so essentially, and it may be that if it's a single family house, yeah, you need to get a shoreline zoning permit, and that gets given to Planning Board. But all that really starts at the code enforcement officer. And there's a map in his office that's shoreline zoning districts that shows all the districts. That's right on his wall. Anyways, that's where that stands. So there's some more stuff I need to go into, but that needs to be done in executive session. But I just wanted to make that clear to get you guys all caught up. So that's what's been going on since Thursday, Friday, and as well as the two appeals boards. There's been some confusion, and it took some calling to DEP to understand all that and how that works. But it wasn't. It's not really that complicated. All you had to do was ask. So, and the guy at DEP is great. Very, 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 very helpful. Very, very, he spent time with me. I mean, he didn't have to. I mean, I'm thinking of myself, if he spent this kind of time with everybody, he'd never get any work done. So, I mean, he spent a good amount of time with me on the phone. I know he spent a good amount of time on the phone with Deborah for the appeals board stuff. So, I got nothing but good things to say. There is, I do know of one, and I think that I may have mentioned that we're going to be getting a letter here shortly from the DEP about an enforcement action that hasn't happened. And it was an enforcement action that the letter, I did find a letter from the DEP back in January 2016. it's over a year and a half old, recommending that we take enforcement action. And recommending that we fine a minimum of $5,000. And it was cutting down trees along a stream, and it was a mature forest. And the contractor had told the owner that they needed a permit, and the owner told them to cut it down anyways.
The contractor did.
The contractor did. That was all the information that came out during the DEP's investigation. And that's why they are recommending a minimum fine of $5,000, because it was a willful violation of it. And that letter we received in the end of January of 16, and nothing's been done. Which is why the DEP, and the other thing that's supposed to be done is this will be replanted. When you cut that buffer zone along a stream, just like we're seeing Alex cut an area down there, he's got to replant it. You got to get natural trees, you got to replant it. You can't do the little ones, you got to do a certain size, you got to have that whole plan. Nothing's been planted, nothing's been done. So that's an issue that we're going to have to deal with once we get a code enforcement officer to do that. But that's why the DEP is pretty upset, because we're not doing what we're supposed to do, and I don't blame them. So that's anyways. Those are the issues that I can at least talk about as far as in public, as far as those. So what else do I have? Oh, we can talk about this. It doesn't really matter. Barbecue. I thought the barbecue or cookout went well.
Yes.
I wish we had more people, but it was a good time.
Yes, it was great. All the jumpers we
yep,
had. I mean,
yep.
It was great.
Yep. We need to settle up as far as you probably pocketed put out the most, right?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm fine.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'm good.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Then we're all square. What else do I have? Just trying to think of. Oh, we got a cemetery field trip tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Are you, yes or no? No? You are? You coming on the field trip? Okay. So it's you, it's me, it's Jordan, and it's with the Milton.
Was it Jenny?
Are you coming too?
Well,
Sure.
The more
Why
the
not?
merrier.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
You guys are the people that are
Yeah,
going to be
yeah,
here.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
After we're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it was too short a notice. I would have actually liked to invite the cemetery committee, but it was too short of a notice. I mean, we just did this Tuesday and it's Friday, so
Yeah.
I
No,
just.
I think I think they should go because.
But then no, that's fine. Yeah, we'll all do a field trip. 1 o'clock, right? 1 o'clock. We're meeting them at Prospect Hill Cemetery. Okay, so we understand the whole process.
When are you doing that?
Tomorrow at 1.
Can we go?
I don't know. Are you going? Crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Well, we can't talk work. We can be there. We just can't talk. We can't talk shop. I prefer not, to be honest with you, because it's not a meeting. It's not like it's a public meeting. So this is for us to understand the management of Prospect Hill Cemetery, which we're in charge of. I mean, and specifically Jordan's in charge of, because he's the trustee right now, even though he doesn't want to be, but he is.
Yeah, so if there's too many people.
So I don't want questions, and I just want to try to keep it to what needs to be there for now. So, but we'll report on our results.
Okay.
So, but that's all I need to say, right?
Yeah, I
Yep.
think so.
What?
You were pointing at me, I don't know, what the hell did I do?
Who knows?
Let's see what else. I know I'm forgetting something because I wrote it at work and I left it at work. Oh, we can talk about that. Interim. So once Mike is gone, because of his, once Mike's gone, then what do we do? Because we're not going to have a CEO. So we kind of need to talk about. Obviously, it would be good if we get one earlier, sooner rather than later, but there may be a gap. There may be a week gap. There may be a month gap. We've already posted the position on MMA, and we've posted it on the website, so it's on our website. So we'll just.
Do we?
Well, so
do we have a copy, or
what
did you post?
Copy of. Well, you saw it in an email.
Did you It was just
position.
the little blur,
Yes,
not
it
the,
wasn't-
oh,
yeah.
I'm
It wasn't
like,
the whole thing.
I'm like,
No,
Jesus.
no, it wasn't the whole thing.
Yeah,
No, but
just-
we were gonna talk about that job description tonight,
Yes,
weren't we?
were.
Did you print that?
Nope.
Could you print 3 copies?
Are we looking at the old one or?
No,
The one
it's
that
it's a newer one.
Oh,
It's simpler because it doesn't have pay on it, it doesn't have,
yeah, that's, yeah.
so it's just, it's better, that's, you know, whose version, so. The quiet peanut gallery, see, lost me on track. Oh. So my thinking, and again, I'm open to ideas, but we're gonna have people, I've already got a building permit here. I already have a guy that's saying, where's my building permit?
Okay,
I've already got a guy that's asking for the CEO to sign something, so.
yes, he was at my house last night.
Paul Philbrick is a deputy or assistant, so I don't know what Paul can sign.
My only concern with that is Paul is the planning board chair. I don't think Paul should be signing code enforcement
Well, no, there
permits.
may be things that he can do that don't conflict, so like, for example, like this one that's, this gentleman who came in here for Phil, that probably doesn't conflict with planning board, so that's something he can.
I'm just saying that we need to
No,
be
but,
careful.
well, and so I've asked Jenny to reach out to Paul
Paul is in
to talk to me.
PA.
Huh?
Paul is in Pennsylvania.
Okay,
Thanks.
well, then I guess I'd find out. So, but anyways, Jenny's gonna reach out to Paul for him to get a hold of me, so we can talk about what he is I don't know what time he's available, if he has availability, what he can do, what he can't do. I'm trying to understand the options.
Okay.
I don't know what,
But
I do
my
understand,
concern is, and it was as him as a deputy because
I 100% agree with that.
planning board chair should
And so
not
we'll
be
need
issuing
to, but the
permits.
other half of that is I'm not looking to have him take part-time and be all these hours. But I don't know, he may be able to do some easy things that are quick.
Do whatever you can.
The other side is that, do we hire a certified third-party inspector? I think we have to.
We're gonna have to.
But I don't wanna, they're not cheap.
No, we did that before.
So my thinking is so here's my thought, and I'll just throw it out there and see what you guys think. If you have somebody that organizes, does not answers phone, but can organize what's coming in, can take a look at messages and organize and push this out, so then we have this, and this, can kind of plan out a third party's day or a third party's 4 hours. Third party comes, grabs the stuff, gets the inspections, does whatever he does, signs off what he does, and he's out of here. So we have somebody that's kind of doing the organizing, that's getting paid a lot less than the third party guy, and then we get that way it streamlines the amount of time that we have to pay that third party. So that's my thinking. You know, obviously the organizing part, I thought about Jen. She's good at organizing. And she's right here. She understands. She knows a lot of people. She knows she can organize that. I don't need her to answer phones. Everybody here can answer phones. Everybody here can take messages. But you know, we can try to. You know, I don't know how much.
The phones go right to his office.
Yeah, but if they don't answer, if his voicemail, they'll punch somebody else.
Yes, they will, and get another voicemail, which upsets everybody.
Well, how do we?
People hate that they can't talk to a live body. I mean, we've talked about this before. So.
Well, but right in the interim, there's nothing we can do. I mean,
I meant in general, not just him.
No. I know that.
You say push another button, yeah, and they have to leave a message on someone else's line. It's not like they're going to get someone, is what I'm saying. They're not going to get a live body. The odds are, you know, that's so. But, I mean, you know.
But they weren't getting it before.
Well, nobody, no matter where they call, you can ask them.
But they weren't. No, I know, but they weren't getting anybody for the last 2 years.
But that is not just at that department.
No, I understand.
That's what I'm trying to stress.
I
if
hear
they
you.
could press 0 and get someone to talk to them, that would probably be great. But that's not happening at any phone. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. When I call Jenny, she usually answers.
Unless she's on the phone, she
yeah,
answers.
but
So does Jordan.
I'm just saying that that's the biggest complaint.
Does Jordan's phone too much? I can route all the calls to Jordan.
Well, he probably's got other things.
Good, he's gone. He didn't hear me.
He's gone.
So anyway, that's just my point. Is, you know, Which
I
that's
guess,
another issue we
well, I
have to
guess
go
what I'm
to.
saying is that's a separate issue.
It is, I agree, but I'm just,
No, I hear,
Putting it out
I
there.
know, I hear what you're saying.
cause I hear about it.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
That's a customer service issue that we need to deal with, and
We do.
that's fine. But I guess my immediate concern is,
Well, it's not fair for them to have to pick up all his calls either.
in a normal situation, that is correct. This is not
Mm-hmm.
normal right now, so everybody's gotta chip in.
I agree with you,
But normally that would be correct. I would
Mm-hmm.
agree with that.
well, couldn't, what are your plans for Jen? I mean.
I don't know.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
you haven't got there, all right.
no, I mean, I'm open to ideas.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, she's done it before.
Mhm.
She's great at organizing,
Mhm.
so she can
Mhm.
get a sense of what's in there,
Well, that's what I mean.
get a sense of what's outstanding. She can even make outgoing
Well,
calls.
she could check his voicemail.
She can do his voicemail. She can, so that's clear, so people can at least leave a message. She can, we can try to figure out who's gonna need an inspection at sometime
So
soon.
is he not here now, or are we
Well,
not, well, okay,
executive session.
all right, because I'm confused,
I
obviously.
understand, but I'm just saying, but this is still gonna happen at some
Mm-hmm.
point. So that's the issue, is that I don't know. And so I think that's an easier, I think that makes sense, unless you've got a better idea
I
or
don't.
another idea or something.
I don't.
There's not a lot of options. You can let me know what you think about that.
You don't have the hours here.
No, that's,
That's because that doesn't go for a job description. Job description is what you're supposed to do. It doesn't, hours, pay, that's all different. I know that's what they did there, but it's not.
because we don't know what it's gonna be. So we're looking for someone that's certified, already has everything we need, is that what we're kind of?
Well, where is it?
The following education experience is required.
Oh, you know what we might do is because that, which change how we did it is highly desirable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I put on the job posting is so instead of required, highly desirable. And that gives us the option, if we really had the right candidate that we wanted to, again, train and work our way up, we could do that. I really don't wanna do that, but we may be stuck with that, you don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, this looks good as long as it's everything that, what is?
Yeah.
Reports all addressing information to the
That's the E911.
ESCB.
Yeah, that's the organization, that's the emergency.
Isn't Jenny doing that?
Well, that's his well, actually she's not, but that's his responsibility, but we may break it out. This is
Yeah,
just,
there's just no measurements.
there's stuff, there's
Okay,
stuff, yeah.
Okay, all right, we don't have to.
We can break that up, but that's what it's.
Because once she gets in and it's
No, she
probably,
probably
if she gets
will.
the information.
Again, job responsibilities change all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're too busy, they need time, so that's fine.
Mhm.
But I'd rather put it down there than not,
Yeah. Well, it looks good.
so, other than that one thing about
Mhm.
being highly desirable, so.
I like resident and-
Yeah, that's fine. So, let's use that, so Jenny, so if anybody asks, just make that, sure, you can give that to her, that one sheet there for highly desirable on the back there, and that works for that, for if people want. Pay and that kind of stuff, we'll talk about, that's all negotiation, so that's personnel, so let's talk about that in executive session. So, back to this, when this gap happens, when we have a gap between Mike and somebody new, how do you guys wanna handle that gap? Do you wanna have Jen do the organization? I mean, cause right now,
Well,
and get a third party, I don't know what other option we have.
Well, I think she's gonna have to. She's gonna have to do it. I mean, she's the one that.
And she just recently did it, so she kinda knows where things are in
And
there.
she knows something about where she's on the planning board. So
Right.
that's,
Right.
yeah, I mean, we have to do that.
Okay.
I mean.
Alright.
Unless
And
we get
then
any other
start
idea.
reaching out to some third parties and find out their availability and,
Yeah, cause obviously they're working somewhere else,
Right.
all of them, so
right.
it's gonna have to be, you
Right.
know.
Do you know the guy in Acton? Do you know that name? Do you know him?
Yes,
know
cause
somebody?
he was our he filled in when we had a gap before, it was him.
Does he know you? Wanna make a call to him?
I can call him,
See what his availability is?
if he's interested.
Well, he may be that now.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm just saying it's better to be a warm call from somebody he knows than from me that he doesn't know.
Okay, I even remember what we paid him before.
I can wait, I can reach out to the other one as well and see if, even if something doesn't pan out, he might be interested.
Well, and those two kind of worked together before because, be careful, just that, you know.
Yep, that's fine, okay. So with that, so then, what do we wanna do for Jen? How much do we wanna allot somebody? I mean, I have to talk to her, I don't know what her availability is. I broached the subject to see if she's interested, so I think she's interested, but we didn't talk hours, we didn't talk how much, we didn't talk any of that stuff, so.
Would that be something we talk about in executive session or?
Well, no, we can talk about how much we wanna do her, I mean, do we wanna her do an hour or two a day?
I thought you meant pay.
No, I just keep her pay that she's getting now, right?
13 something.
Is she getting that? Is that what she's getting?
It's what she gets, what she got before for covering for her.
Well, no,
No, she started at 22 and we brought it down to,
No, but what did she just get paid for covering for?
I think it's 13 something.
Yeah, but yeah, that's fine, whatever she is,
yeah,
whatever she is, I mean,
I mean,
I'm not looking to change that, I'm just trying to.
is it, 4 hours, I don't know, cause I don't know what's.
Well, and I don't know, I mean, where are we, we probably need to look at how much she's working already, so I'm not sure. Yeah, you guys probably have it in front of you, but, I mean, if you think about it, when she was helping the selectmen out, now she's not doing that, so she does have she does have some time.
Well,
And-
yeah,
We're not, at that time, we won't be paying Mike, so it's not like we don't have the money for that, we'll have to, for some hours.
don't worry.
Oh, I know, I will be paying out the other way, I hear.
True
I
story.
mean, I'm just, do you want her to, like a couple hours a day, like 2 hours a day, just to take calls and to try to organize and to
Well,
try to.
if she could, yeah, I mean, and it might be more than a couple hours
She gets $12. No, wait, $12 an hour.
for planning board.
$12 an hour.
No, there's a couple.
Planning board.
She's there several areas.
Okay, well, we'll
We'll
look
figure
at
that
that, we can look at that. Yeah, I mean, she might have to come in but can she come in when people might come in, or we don't want, or?
I mean, we can have her do like during the office hours, maybe, I don't know what her availability
Yeah,
is.
you have to see, but.
But I mean, it's not like she can really answer questions,
No,
so.
but I mean, she could take names and number, if
Yeah,
some,
Yeah, we can do that.
So I don't know,
So I mean, my thought is as well, is whenever this happens, is that, one, I like to post something on the door. So try to tell people, and then also when we have her, maybe initially give her a few extra hours and maybe start reaching out to people that have projects already in process to let them know the situation.
I think.
So that they're, but, well, I'm just saying, it's just, so,
Yeah,
so,
no, that's fine,
alright, we'll just kind of
yeah,
play with that. So you like the premise of,
yeah,
alright,
absolutely.
you okay with that?
Yeah, he's okay with it.
Come on, do what you want.
Okay with it.
I think that's it for public, except for questions.
Waited a long time. No, I don't have any questions, but I.
Did the gentlemen, the people who were here, did they not want, they were so listening just for listening, or did they have questions, do you know? They seemed to leave early and.
The fella that was here with me was interested in the cable.
Oh.
And I told him, why don't you come, like he didn't know he could come, so I invited him, he came down, he heard what he wanted, and he went over. Very nice man.
Okay.
The other two in the back, I'm not quite sure why they're here for, they just said.
No, that's fine,
But, yeah, and he said, I enjoyed myself, I'm coming back.
No, it was nice to see people, but sometimes, where public is at the end, I sometimes feel that I ought to give them, because sometimes they don't want to stay until the end, so they leave early, but they never ask their questions.
Right.
And they come here to ask a question, and
That's true.
it's like,
maybe we should move that up.
so, I mean, it's one thing when it's you two, because I know you're, well, we know you're there, we know you're here till the end, so
Right.
you guys can wait, but other people they don't necessarily know, so, yeah. So, anyway.
So I actually had a couple of things. The first thing you kind of already touched on, and that was the putting on my appeals board lady hat now. So I just want to thank everybody that came for public hearings and discussions this week for just keeping their cool. I was so impressed with everybody because I know how high those emotions are running, and I was just so impressed with everybody, and they really made our job on the appeals board very easy. So I wanted to just thank everybody for that first thing. Second thing is that I'd like just to say that I picked that. Remember I told you guys in August that the people down at Riverside, the new management at Riverside, were doing a thing. They're giving $1 to the backpack program for every chicken dinner. So what do you figure, $20 or something? I went down there today and they gave me $79 from September so far, and then the rest I didn't know what it was, but it was $90 I drove over to Mary Hurd School donation for the backpack program, and those people over there were so excited that there was somebody in the community actively working for the backpack program. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was really interesting to give them a two thumbs up. Then the LePage's SUR Construction has been bringing the gravel over. The swap shop site work's starting to look great. Tommy's doing an amazing job. I'm just so thrilled with everybody that's been helping out over there. And then, I don't know if I had told you already, but we mailed 136 pounds of I don't know.
Toiletries.
Yeah, that stuff. To Holiday Beach, Texas, and they got everything. The lady that I deal with down there is, she has cancer herself and is going through chemo. Plus, she's been working to try to help everybody over there, and they did finally get all their stuff. And I've got pictures. I'm gonna put it up online there, all the pictures of the people and stuff. But an amazing outpouring of love from Holiday Beach to Lebanon, which made me feel great. And then I don't want everybody to forget about the Lebanon Toys for Kids. It was very important. Last year they helped 75 families in Lebanon, and I know Cindy's gearing up now, so if you're out and you're just shopping and you have a couple of dollars and can pick up one or two things, I know she would greatly appreciate the donations early because she's working very hard, and she had a lot of children last year to care for. So those are really all that I had, was just a couple of words of gratitude for the people that have helped me out on several projects here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Sir?
Nothing? You said all this time and you didn't even have anything?
No, I only mentioned business list.
First one.
Motion to go to executive session, 1 MRSA 405, 6 in parentheses, 8 parentheses.
For personnel matters.
Personnel.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
You're printing something, are you?
Are you looking at a decision or a motion, or perhaps?
No.
You guys never make it